And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it is week 5. Believe it or not, we are here at Coca's Pizza for the Canfield Cardinal Show. DJ Yoakley, Coach Mike Pavlansky with us, as he always is. And Coach, they really talk about this 10 weeks being the fastest 10 weeks of the year. And you have to, we're halfway through now.
Yeah, it's unbelievable how fast it goes, DJ, every year. And again, you sit back and all of a sudden it's week 5 and you wonder, where did the first 4 weeks go to?
Well, we know where the first 4 weeks went to, and we're going to talk about week 4. Obviously, a very special game. We talked about it last week. Very special to your family. A very tightly contested game, as it usually is when you're talking about the Battle of 224. What did you see on Friday from your boys that you're really proud of?
The effort.
Yeah.
The effort was unbelievable for 48 minutes. Defensively, it was one of our best defensive ball games of the year. I think we gave up a total of 157 yards, and one of them, they went 59 for a touchdown. So you can't play much better defensively, but obviously the big play has been a sticking point for us all year long. There's one thing you got to point to defensively. We got to fix that. But the defensive effort was a winning effort in any ball game we're going to play, and if we can hold the opponent to that many yards.
One of the things we continue to talk about week after week, and you said, hey, nobody's feeling bad for us, is injuries, depth, things of that nature. How do you, ice baths? What do you do to kind of get by week to week?
Yeah, that's it. Obviously you tailor the practice plan to the health of your team. You don't want to lose your team on a practice day. You want to be as healthy as possible on a Friday night. And, so when you're healthy, you can go maybe a little bit harder. When you're banged up a little bit, you got to back off a little bit, but also to make sure your 2s and 3s are ready to play. And I think we've had a tremendous week of practice so far, and we need another good night tomorrow night to try and have a chance against a really good Cheney team.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about Cheney in a moment. When you look at some of these guys that have stepped up in big and key positions and moments during these contests, there has to be some kind of admiration as a coach to see these young men step up time after time after time and really step in when, that first time can be a very special moment, but you're thrown into the fire. It's one of those things you always want to prepare for, but sometimes you have to be prepared to be unprepared.
Right. No doubt. Just the inexperience. At the beginning of the year, we're inexperienced. Right now, we can't say that anymore because everybody out there has played in the first 4 ball games for us. We've got one guy that we've moved the position for. He's got a little bit of an excuse, but he'll never give you an excuse. He's just going to play hard. And that's the one thing we talk to our guys about, whether it's we're 3-1 at this point or 1-3 like we are. The only thing people are going to remember is how hard you play.
Yep.
Okay. If you play as hard as you can, you prepare as well as you can, the outcome may not be what you want, but you have some satisfaction to know we've done as well as we could. And then you try and find those small things that put you over the top. And that's what we're trying to do right now.
Physicality. Yep. We've talked about it every week. It doesn't get any easier when you turn the page and you see those Cowboys across across the field.
Yeah.
You and I talked about it. This could be one of the most physical matches all season.
Absolutely. It usually is. It usually is with Seth Antron's team over there. And, you got a Jawan Harmon, you have an Elijah Carter. Those guys will come downhill at you defensively and really lay the wood to you. And conversely, offensively, Harmon's 6'1", 225 pounds. I think he's a Ball State commit. He runs as hard as anybody we've seen so far this year. They got 3 returning starters up front, led by Carter. And he's as good of a lineman as we've seen so far. And, we've got to be on top of our game to have a chance Friday night.
When you talk about Cheney, it's always any coach, any team. It's expect the unexpected. You just never know what to expect on a Friday night with that team because they've got so much athleticism built into that. And you talked about Seth and how he kind of tailors that. How do you tailor the game plan? You can only plan for what you see on film, right? Or do you go back years of film based on what you guys already know about him?
You go back, maybe a couple years, a year he's at Boardman, maybe certainly last year this morning we watched last year's game with our guys. And, the thing about an athletic team like Cheney, a speed team like Cheney, is that because the play's going away from you doesn't mean it's coming back to you. It will come back to you in a hurry. If the guys on the front side do their job and there's nothing there, they'll put their foot in the ground and reverse field on you. So those guys on the back side have got to be really conscious of yes, I want to run to the ball, but it better be in the right alleys, because if not, they'll reverse the field and go down the sideline on you.
When you're looking at scout teams, like, are you telling the guys to make sure that you try to emulate that,
Yeah,
where we can go
absolutely.
back? How do you plan for that?
Well, there's certain plays in practice. Say, okay, listen, we're going to run an outside zone this time. Once they pull you up, put your foot in the ground, reverse field.
Okay.
We have what we call contained tackling drills. It's 2-on-1, and we just tell that guy, a young guy, a JV guy, if you can beat him to the outside, beat him to the outside. And, reverse the field as many times as you want. But if you can beat him to the outside, that's what we want.
So you're at that point, especially on defense, you're just trying to contain. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
At that point,
contain, squeeze, and make a tackle.
Almost like a kickoff, right?
Yeah,
stay in your lanes.
Yep, stay in your lanes. Absolutely.
When you think about playing teams locally, because you guys have had a little bit of travel, you've had teams travel in. Is it nice to kind of have that local matchup when you still, like, Seth very well, these guys, these names. You're not looking at Max Preps, you're looking at the Vindicator.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Is that nice to be able to do that?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
It's just nice to be playing a bobbed up field.
There you go.
Not leaving home is nice. And certainly an added feature is playing a local team. And it's a challenge. It really is. And no matter who's in front of us, as a team, we're going to concentrate on, and we're going to prepare as well as we can and give our best effort.
At this point in the season, what do you tell your guys? I mean, this is a life lesson.
Yeah, absolutely, right? It is. You can prepare as well as you can. You can do as well as you can do on a test. Sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And then when that test is over with, you figure out why didn't it work out. We're missing something. Offensively, we're missing finishing drives. We had a 10-play drive, an 11-play drive, and a 10-play drive, no points. Special team wise, we're missing assignments and a couple of bad snaps. We got to correct that, and nobody wants to do that, but we got to correct it in practice. And defensively, it's the big play as well as we played. Okay, if you don't give up that one big play, you have a better chance of coming out on top. So, you can prepare as well as you can. You can play as hard as you can. And that's where, you can take some satisfaction in knowing I did the best I could. It just didn't work out. The problem we have is if we didn't prepare and we didn't play as hard as we play, what the score would be. Because it'd be a lot worse.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. That's great advice moving forward for these young men. And obviously they'll take it. They know you know your stuff. You said something to me before we came on that was really interesting. You guys have celebrated the Poland Canfield and obviously the Pavlansky situation in the last few years. And your family comes in from all over. And you guys celebrate. And you got really talkative about that. And you like to keep it tucked in tight sometimes. But I mean, how much does that mean to you? The game's great, but that's got to be awesome.
On Friday night, there's nothing better than a Poland Canfield football game.
Yeah.
There really isn't. And for those 3 hours for the week, really, in the 3 hours on Friday evening, that's the most important thing for our kids and for our staff and for Tom and I, to be honest with you. But once that's over with, because of the situation we find ourselves in, the last 3 years, we've had extended family come in from all over the country. First year, 2 years ago that we played, we had over 80 extended family members from California, from Texas, from Florida, from North Carolina, from Arizona, fly in for the game. And some local people, from Struthers. And, it's neat to catch up with family because, at our age, DJ, the time you catch up with family is usually not a fun time. It's usually at a funeral. And, we've been fortunate to be put in this situation, Tom and I. And then on Saturday after meetings and we say goodbye to our kids for the weekend, we've met somewhere. Our brother Dave is really, took the bull by the horns there, and he put together a nice Saturday afternoon at Risers for us down in Columbiana, and where we were just able to sit for 3-4 hours and just catch up and laugh a little bit and giggle, and the game's put behind us at that point. It was all about family on Saturday.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of perfection, leads to my question of the week for you. What is your idea of the perfect day?
The perfect day.
Perfect day.
Oh my gosh. I get up and do some exercise, walk. I've got an elliptical, run an elliptical for a little bit, grab a coffee and read the paper. And then, if it depends on what season it is. If it's fall, give me football, college football all day long. If it's summertime, my daughters and I, we like to go to the Outer Banks and just enjoy a day down there on the beach. And, it depends on the season. But right now in the fall, hey, season's over with whenever it may be over with. Last year was in December. Okay. It was wake up the next day on Saturday morning, grab a cup of coffee and watch college football all day long.
Love it. All right. Last one for you. Well, I'm throwing this one to the wind. I got to ask you, because you are a football guru. You're a guy that loves football more than probably anybody I've ever met. Why is football so important to you? I know it's a deep question.
Well, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Okay. Certainly the upbringing I had with our father.
Yeah.
He was a teacher, football coach, and my mom and dad never pushed their kids into any one profession. It just felt like a natural fit for my brothers and I. We all became teachers and coaches. And, we always said this too, that if our dad had another profession, he was a lawyer or whatever, we probably would have went into law school, because he made us a part of his daily routine. Our mom made us a part of her daily routine, supported our dad being away during the fall for so many hours a day, because we knew when football was over with, Dad wasn't missing anything that we were involved in, whether it be our sisters and their dance recitals and dance programs, and or the sons, involved in other sports. Yeah, he wasn't going to miss anything. The fall was difficult, there's no doubt, but it just felt like a natural progression in my life, and certainly my brother's lives, that we just enjoyed the upbringing where we were at. And we've always said this, my dad affected a lot of people, in his short life of 41 years. If we could affect half that many people, we'd be successful too.
That's incredible. So it's not so much the game, it's the vehicle that football brought and utilized. Yep. Coach, thank you so much. I appreciate you open up. Yep. Good luck against Cheney.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you next week,
Sounds
Wednesday.
Good.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, buddy.
We'll see you back after this.